I canceled my wedding because of my future mother-in-law. I am 29 years old and have been with my partner for 12 years now. Since we have been together, his mother has made it clear that she hates me. I never understood the reason, but I think it is out of jealousy, given that before me, he was mommy's boy. My partner proposed to me when we discovered that I was 3 months pregnant, and I said yes. I was very excited and quickly began the preparations. I hired a wedding planner, and from there, everything went wrong. My mother-in-law told everyone that I was a bad woman for not taking care of my own wedding, that I was tying her son down with a pregnancy, and that I was lazy and unkept. We both paid for the wedding. Since we have been together for so long, we have a shared savings account. We have been able to save a lot. We always said that if we ever separated, we would split the account in half. But now that we were going to get married and have a baby, we used it for planning. But my mother-in-law said that the tradition is that the bride's father pays for the wedding, and since I don't have a father, I should take care of the expenses. My fiancé told her that was stupid and to stay out of our finances, and he wasn't asking her for money. Even though my boyfriend threatened not to invite her to the wedding, my mother-in-law continued making comments like that. Everything collapsed when I tried some things from the banquet and realized that they had nuts and other things to which I am allergic. Even though I did tell the coordinator about my allergies. I ended up in the emergency room. Luckily, nothing happened to my baby. Although if he was in danger, it was when my boyfriend asked the organizer for an explanation. It turned out that I and she communicated by email, and she never received my list of what we were allergic to. That is, my husband's list arrived, but when it came to mine, the list said no allergies. My husband has the emails registered on his mother's computer since it was our old computer. My partner didn't think twice and immediately accused her of it, and he also told her that he no longer wanted to have contact with her. For my part, I began to rethink my entire situation. He has already recanted and brought his mother back into our lives again, so I can't trust his words, and I really don't plan to risk it again. And even less so with my baby. She didn't care that she could lose her grandson. I love him with all my heart, but right now I have more love for my son and fear of his mother. Little by little I was canceling things, and when it came time to return certain deposits, I put them in the savings account. My partner did not realize this fact until he went to the place where we had ordered the cake to make sure of the ingredients and found out about my cancellation. I asked him to meet up after he called me asking why I canceled. I told him that I no longer felt safe about getting married, that I loved him, but I didn't feel safe that the two of us, me and my baby, would be close to his family. I wouldn't marry him, but that he would be part of our baby's life. He told me that he was willing to stay away from everyone for the both of us, but I can't believe him. He had already said it before, and a few months later we were back to the same thing. I remained firm with my decision and gave him the ring. I also showed him everything I could return to the shared account. I told him that what they would not refund I only deducted from my part, and that I already divided our money and took out my part. It's been a week, and I'm devastated. He is too. Our mutual friends have told me. Some say I did well, and others say I was miserable. I only looked out for the health and well-being of my baby and myself. His mother started spreading rumor that it was my ex who broke up with me when he discovered that my son was not his, and I have received comments calling me names. From the comments, "You'll never be the jerk for protecting yourself and your baby. You're not the jerk for canceling the wedding." Info: could you give more details about how his mother acted towards you and how your boyfriend responded to her over the 12 years? What were the conversations like between you and your boyfriend when he cut her off and when she came back in your life? Did he talk to you before bringing her back into your life, or was it a surprise? Without additional info, it's difficult to say much about your decision to end the relationship. On one hand, it's 1000% reasonable to end the relationship if he has a long history of going back on his word or continuously allowing his mother to insert herself in your relationship. On the other hand, ending things after 12 years seems over the top if this is the first time he's up like this. I think it's fair to say that the mother-in-law's reaction was extreme, and most kids would never expect this from their parents. Really hope this makes sense. My brain is fried, and I've had to redo this comment an embarrassing number of times. You're a great mom, Op. I'm sorry you have to go through this, and I hope things improve quickly. OP, I'll tell you 3 things my mother-in-law did, how my ex reacted, and how long it took to let her back. It will not go in chronological order, but rather from least serious to most serious. My mother-in-law paid a friend of mine to tell my boyfriend that I was cheating on him. She took advantage of the fact that I was visiting my native country, Chile, for national holidays. My boyfriend believed him at first, but when he asked for strong evidence, they had nothing. They had to change their strategy, saying that I had forced them to eliminate everything. When I came back, he didn't say anything to me for a month. During that time, he acted strange. He was controlling and even checked my phone. That was the final straw. I asked him for explanations, but he didn't want to give me any explanation, but his sister told me everything. I broke up with him due to mistrust, and I didn't speak to him again for 6 months. After apologizing to me and showing me that he had kept his mother and my friend away from him, we returned. Almost 4 months went by when he told me that his mother had already apologized to him and me, and that she wanted us to visit her. I never received an apology directly, she only apologized to her son. A few years ago, I had an accident, and I was left with a scar. It looks like a cesarean section scar, and one day at her house, we went into the pool, and she saw my scar, and from there she kept insisting that I had had a son. Where was my son? Surely you abandoned him. Surely the child belonged to a married man, and that's why you didn't say anything, and now you want to turn my poor son into a stepfather. I explained to her, but the lady continued with the same thing, so I left her house. My boyfriend told me that I was rude for leaving his mother talking to herself. I told him that if he wasn't going to defend me, we'd better break up. My boyfriend didn't want to break up, so he spoke to his mother to stop her from talking. But she had already told everyone that I was a prostitute who wanted to make her son a stepfather. My boyfriend told me that he stopped talking to his mother. But after 2 weeks I came back from work and my boyfriend was in the bathroom and his mother was rummaging through my drawers. She faced me again and forced me to show her photos of my son. I demanded that she leave, and she started attacking me. My boyfriend came out of the bathroom and saw how his mother called me a W while she hit me. He kicked his mother out of the house, but a month went by, and out of nowhere he told me, "Get ready, let's go out." Where did we go? To a restaurant to celebrate his mother's birthday. This was when we've been dating for 2 years. I had already come to his mother's house several times, but never for Christmas. That dinner, each thing had 1 or 2 ingredients that gave me allergies. I couldn't eat anything, and I practically had to force myself to eat. Luckily, I realized it before trying anything, just before putting the food in my mouth. She knew my allergies, but she pretended not to know. My boyfriend supported me that time and left dinner with me. The next day his mother went to his house complaining about why he left. That was the first time that my mother-in-law confessed that she had never loved me, that she hated me, and confessed that she did that with the full intention of seeing if I would get a reaction. My partner kicked her out of the house and didn't speak to her again for a whole year. Then the lady lied that she had had a heart attack. I found out about that years later because my sister-in-law told me that he let her in again. Update. Thank you all for your comments and for your advice. It has been almost 2 months since my mother-in-law tried to poison me while I was pregnant with her grandson, and a few things happened. My mother-in-law continued to spread rumors that I cheated on her son, and that my baby was not her grandson. So, I got tired and asked my ex to come out and say that everything his mother said was a lie, but he didn't do it. On the contrary, he told me, "Let's do a DNA test so that my mother will stay silent." I told him that I would not please her and asked if he was not going to defend me and his son. He better not even think about being the father of my baby, but not even that made him react. So, I blocked him and decided to consult with a lawyer on the issue of custody and parental rights. After that discussion I had a few calm days, the accusations simply stopped and many apologized for a moment. I believed that my ex had come to his senses and defended me. But the peace ended quickly. Last week my mother-in-law entered my apartment where she lived with her son before we separated by force. I don't know how, and I don't know how long ago, but she had a key, and she stole my baby's ultrasounds and all my medical records from my house. Luckily, I caught her just when she was running away from my apartment. I confronted her, and she tried to justify her actions and say that the ultrasounds also belonged to her son. When I asked her to hand me what she had taken from my house, she started yelling at me that I was taking her grandson away from her. I reminded her that she had tried to unalive her grandson, and she had disowned him. That's when the attack became physical. Good luck to me, my neighbors came out when they heard the screams and defended me. Also, one of them decided to call the police. Finally, they took her away for assault and burglary. I also reported her for poisoning when they arrested her. They discovered that she had also stolen my passport and money, and she justified everything because, She was afraid that I would flee the country with her grandson. After that scandal, my ex came to my apartment complaining about me for reporting his mother. He also tried to hit me, but at that moment his sister and brother-in-law were there, and they defended me and called the police. Before, he had violent reactions, but he had never tried to hit me. I must say that my sister-in-law always was and is very kind to me. She was the one who always defended me, the one who set limits for her mother, and it was she who spoke to every person who called me a bee and told them what my mother-in-law did to me. With everything that happened, I no longer felt safe in my apartment. So, I made the decision to return to my native country before my baby is born. So while I gather all the necessary things and receive the discharge from my doctor, I stayed at my sister-in-law and her partner's house. Regarding the legal issue, I must say that I am considering not continuing with the complaint, given that this takes time, and I am already almost 6 months pregnant, so my possibilities of leaving before my son is born are being limited.